Nitschke Podcast. I'm so excited today. We've got Katrina Schilling from Bunmark Health. I've been saying it wrong this whole time, but so awesome to have you here, Katrina. Thanks for taking the time. How are you?
I'm great. I'm good. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me. It's always nice to chat to someone in the community.
Definitely. And we've known each other a little while now. You've helped me a lot personally, which I'm so grateful for. Great. But for those that don't know who you are and about your business, take us through Bunmark Health.
Well, I am a naturopath. Some people knows what that means and some people don't. So I work, as you said, out of Bunmark Health in Mount Barker in the hills. So as a clinical naturopath, I see people to help them with their health goals, basically. So I studied a Bachelor of Health Science and a bit of science in the background before that as well, to help with basically nutritional guidance. I use herbal medicine as well, and lifestyle advice to basically just help people with their health concerns.
Love it.
Yeah.
And it's a holistic approach, isn't it? It's not.
That's right.
I think for people that don't know much about naturotherapy, I think they can maybe get the wrong thoughts around that. It's so much more than just herbs and
and that's right. More than just picking some plants from your garden and eating those, maybe or something.
Love it.
I have quite a science background, so I really thrive on providing evidence-based information, and as well as there's lots of great traditional medicine that comes through my practice as well. But the holistic side really means that we look at the drivers and the causes of how you're feeling, or a health condition or symptoms, rather than putting a band-aid on top, say like taking a Panadol for a fever. So then we look at why have you got the headache or the fever in the beginning and work on that so you get long-term results.
It makes sense. And from personal experience, it's definitely the way to go. What inspired you to get into your line of work?
It's a great question, because I think it's something that I could just so easily say, it just happened, I just fell into it. I've always been interested in, had an affinity for nature since I was a kid. Loved being in the garden, digging up worms, and had an interest in food. So I guess that's kind of like nutrition, but when you're a kid, it's just food. Then I was a teenager and lost all that interest for a while. And then as a young adult, I had some health concerns of my own. And I just wasn't getting answers that, were right for me, whatever I was being told. Or I also was just not being given any answers. That's the main thing, really, which a lot of people come in to see me because they haven't had answers, or the ones that they, that made sense to them. So I think there's got to be another way to tackle this. And I saw a naturopath and so many of my concerns went away. So that's awesome. Yeah.
So personal experience led you on the path that you're on.
Yeah,
love it.
Definitely.
So your business, how many years now have you been up and running?
I never really know the answer to that question. I should probably figure
forever.
It out. It feels like a while now.
Yeah.
And I always knew that I wanted to go straight into clinical practice. So I probably had that in my mind while I was in clinic at uni as well, because you go through clinical practice at uni. There's been a few years, but yeah. And
you're growing your team, aren't you? Obviously there's yourself, which is how it began.
Yeah.
Who's on the journey with you now?
So just this year, I've introduced a myotherapist.
Awesome.
Her name's Isla, and she is just about always booked out now. It's really great to see people respond to her and her treatment. It's really awesome. And myotherapy is also probably something that people don't know too much about, at least in South Australia. It's similar to, or incorporates, massage.
Okay.
But it's also some other cool tools like cupping and dry needling and stuff like that.
Great.
So that's great to have Isla on board. She's so lovely, and also have two naturopaths involved now, because I'm going on maternity leave.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Thanks. One of the main reasons. But it's so nice to have a team, because, working with others is always more cheerful. Yeah.
Totally agree. And I think, obviously aligned in similar values to what you've created in the business, but it's myotherapy. Is that am I pronouncing it right?
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I certainly personally don't know a lot about. But what are some of the benefits of that approach to natural health?
Yeah, that is also a holistic approach and perspective from that practitioner. So myotherapy, it definitely involves an assessment at the beginning, so to make sure that it's holistic. So not just going in with just a relaxing massage. I mean, that's always really nice as well.
Yeah.
But it's good to kind of combat, again, the drivers or the underlying causes of whatever the pain is or the restriction to movement or something like that. So she knows a lot about anatomy and physiology, and she'll have a look and see what's not moving so well or whatever the issue is. And then, most of the time is on the treatment table, going through either soft or deep tissue massage and whatever the person's comfortable with as well, because not everyone likes the needles.
No.
Some people love them. And same with cupping. I love cupping. I think it's awesome. It's like a backwards massage, pulling up, releasing the tissue.
Releasing toxins, isn't it, and tissue?
Yeah, it is about blood flow, helping with blood flow and getting that to the surface, and therefore with detoxification. But it is also just a lot about moving the muscles and fascia to just relieve tension. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So obviously with your career unfolding the way it has, obviously the world has changed a lot in that time.
Yeah.
Tell me about the impact of, I guess, COVID on natural health. I mean, obviously they're both health related, and like I suppose where you see the industry starting to head towards as a result.
Where I see it, where I hope to see it.
Hope to see it. Sounds good.
That is a good question, and I guess I'm really lucky that I can do a lot of work online. Yeah. So I can still see clients. But there is, a slight barrier in terms of usually I'm right there with them to provide anything like required nutrients or supplements or bottles of herbs and things like that. It's quick and you can show them and it's all right there. Yep. That's good. But, thank God for the post as well.
Yeah, very true.
So there's that aspect. So I can continue working, and then, it is health related. So I did see a surge in people becoming quite health conscious and having health anxiety. So, and just anxiety and stress in general increasing. That's, a big part of what a lot of people go through. Yeah. But there was a lot of health anxiety involved, especially parents about their families. And immune support is a big part of what I do anyway. Yeah. But that ramped up for sure.
Yeah, I guess it's that whole, and we've talked about this a lot over the time we've known each other, around prevention being better than the cure, and
being prepared, and all that kind of thing. And people are also realizing that getting back to basics with what they eat, nutritionally, and also maybe what they might want to start trying to grow in the garden. Yeah, that was a really cool thing that came about, I think, from COVID.
Very true. Spending more time at home.
Yeah, more time at home. More time, hopefully, relaxing. I mean, it's probably just gone back to how they were. Sometimes it just goes back to the previous fast pace. But a lot of people also saying they realised that they needed to slow down, and that helped with their health concerns.
It's really, great, well said. And it's interesting you're commenting about the anxiety around what was going on, and let's be honest, what's still going on. Yeah. Mental health and naturopathy, there's a place that I know personally that you can really help with that. Can you expand on that a little bit, on that side of your work?
Yeah, so it is a big part of a lot of people's lives, having either stress, anxiety, or low mood or depression, or whatever version of that it is for them.
Yes.
And there's all nuances and different bits in between those three main things, I guess. But looking after people's mental well-being from a perspective of food and nutrition is massive. There is plenty of research. We know that what you eat does have an impact on your mental well-being. and stress levels, how you sleep, how you feel in your body. So I try to help people understand that, and then guide them with, what works for their body, because everyone is unique, and that's part of the holistic perspective as well, is that everyone is different, and one pill or one protocol is never going to be right for everyone.
There's no magic pill.
No, there's no magic pill. The holistic perspective definitely does help with looking after your mental load and all the stresses in life. And I really love to see people's change in that sense. It's very, it's great. I know everyone knows what it's like to be stressed.
Yes.
So.
You talk about change. I think when we first met, I was having Vegemite on toast for breakfast and a couple of other things that we've sorted out since. And obviously it's that holistic approach, though, of the impact that you've had on me personally is it's almost like a coaching relationship over an indeterminate period, because life continues to change and there's going to be different health challenges that will come with that. If someone's tuning into the podcast today for the first time and they're curious about naturotherapy, how does the start of a relationship for you with a new client work, and what can they expect in that first, when they're in the hot seat?
Yeah, totally. Great question. And I kind of like to consider that initial meeting or first consult to be like a getting to know each other session, because it's important that everyone feels comfortable and safe, and that whoever's come in to see me feels like it's the right move for them, and that they're ready in their life, because sometimes you can think maybe I'm ready to make some changes, but when the changes get suggested, it's not quite the right time, and that's cool. But it's definitely about getting to know each other and setting out goals as well. And those goals, like you're saying, life changes, so those goals change all the time, and that's cool. We just adapt treatment plans, or we adapt the management to the person and their individual needs. And sometimes I'll prescribe a whole bunch in the first session, and sometimes I really won't, and it will just be about getting back to basics, or whatever really suits the person.
And there's a lot of education that you bring as well, because I know for me personally, lots of questions around how does this work, what's the next step, and you've got an answer for every question so far, which is great. So obviously your work's so immersive. When you're not involved in running a business and meeting with clients, what do you do for fun outside of work? Because you're based in the hills, of course, where you live.
I live in the hills. Probably being in the garden is where I'm the most happy. And at times I forget that as well, and it's part of looking after my own mental health is remembering that, and then getting outside regardless of the weather. And you can rug up in the cold hills winter and go out there, and it's still just so beautiful. And I think that's even if it's not that productive, even if I haven't put much in the garden and nothing much is happening, I still like being out there and just seeing what's going on. There's lots growing, amongst nature that's growing.
Awesome. And in terms of then things to do within the hills and thinking about your line of work, is there like a tip that you have for any audience around, anyone watching today, I should say, around maybe a local market or a local shop that you love that maybe may not be Coles and Woolies that everyone knows, but something that's a little bit a secret Katrina tip?
A secret. Oh, goodness.
It's probably a lot to mention, I'd imagine.
There are really great markets around. I know Mount Barker has a great market.
The farmers market?
The farmers market,
And that's every Saturday or every second?
I actually can't remember.
That's right, we'll
it's
link
on
it
a
up.
Saturday.
But very popular.
And it's great because it has, as you would know, something that I bang on a lot about is having variety in your diet. Trying new things, and also working with the seasons. So food market is an incredible place to be, to see what's in season. So I think that's a real cool thing to connect with. If you're in the hills, you can't not see the seasons change. So it's a great place to be at the markets and out in nature.
Love it. That's awesome, Katrina. It's been so good to catch up with you, and really value your time as always. Thanks for being a guest on the Nitschke Podcast.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks so much.